You're listening to the Esoterics Podcast.
Hi everyone, this is Fioraliz.
And I'm Joe. Welcome back to the Esoterics Podcast. Hello this week, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you? How's your weekend?
The weekend was good. Oh, the weekend was good. I went to this new restaurant called Basilisk, and they had these incredible chicken sandwiches. Of course, I don't really like chicken sandwiches because it's too much bread. But I mean, the chicken was like that big. You guys can't see, but it's like 3 decks of cards. And instead, I had a chicken salad.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was a layer of this lovely like field green mixed like with vinaigrette, and then this chicken that is just crunchy and delicious with like cold noodles and peanut sauce and like a soft boiled egg. It was
I saw your picture. Yeah,
oh
that
my
looks great.
God, that thing was delicious. Basilisk. So check it out if you're in the Portland area. It's really good.
That sounds
What'd you do?
delicious.
Anything fun?
Yeah, I went hiking for the first time this year with my friend. Yeah, we talked about it a few weeks ago and we're just like, let's do it. And she's also a Capricorn. And I just have to say that I love planning things with Capricorn friends because you guys just like, you're just on your shit. You're just like, we're gonna go here, we're gonna do this, and I'm just like, yes. And I'm the type of person where like, if I'm telling you if I commit, I'm going. I don't flake.
Yep.
So I feel like it's a good combination.
Mm-hmm.
So she was like, hey, we're going to go here. And I'm like, yes, I'm down. We're going to go. And it was such a beautiful, I think it was like our, the phones track your steps. I think it did like 16,000 steps.
Oh, nice.
But it was so beautiful. And it was right by, there's a little like river stream that like was there the whole time, like throughout the trails and stuff. It was amazing. I loved it.
Did you get good pictures?
Yes. Yeah, I do. I actually have to just post them.
I was
going
to say, I haven't seen any, so you haven't posted any.
No, not yet. But yeah, we saw some beautiful butterflies and birds. And it was just awesome to be outside. And then, she's just awesome to have conversations with. So I had a wonderful time.
Yeah, I like my Capricorn friends too because the 5 in me is like, I don't want to make plans. I don't want to do that, right? But then the Capricorn is like, but you have to have them. So when somebody else does the plans, I'm like, I'm in. I'm all in.
Yep. Yeah, it was the best. She's like, we're going to meet here. And I'm like, yep. All right. I'll meet you there.
All your bossy Capricorn friends.
I like it. Because I'm wishy-washy. I'm like, I'll give you options. I'll be like, we can go here, or we can go here, or we can go there. And then I was just like, you pick,
See, it's a good balance, right?
Yes.
It's a good balance. I love that. I love that.
It is great.
You want to talk about the retreat?
Yes. So to start off our announcements today, so we have our retreat spots available. So we're encouraging you to take that tax money and put on a down payment on your spot. Come hang out with us. Come hang out with us in Lake Michigan in May. Join us and you'll learn how to deepen your intuitive practice and connect with your higher self using Akashic energy. You know what? I got to interject real quick. When the classes that you've been doing on Sundays right now, when the first class, when you opened the Akashic records for the group, I had like this like Zoom thing that happened.
Nice.
And I wasn't going to interrupt anything to tell you, but I was like, yeah, that Akashic energy is fucking strong.
It is so strong. And the thing is that intuitive development, it's like over the years, I've boiled it down to like learning to open up the Akashic energy with your higher self. That's what develops your intuitive abilities.
Yeah.
And the thing too, I'm going to interject on your interjection. This retreat, I started thinking about it. It's not an intuitive development retreat per se, because we're going to do so many things. We're going to do breath work. You're going to tell us all the cool things that we're going to do, but this is more just a a woo-woo hanging out, diving deep, delving into all of your favorite topics and crystals and games and fun retreat.
Yes. So the weekend is going to take place on May 27th through May 29th. This is in West Olive, Michigan. Cost is $888 for 3 days and 2 nights. And this is nothing but woo, meditation, relaxation, spiritual connection, hanging out with a cool ass group of people.
Right.
And we do have a payment plan available, so you don't have to just fork it over in one whole payment. It's
Right.
up to you. We're flexible. And if you're, maybe on a budget, need to save a few bucks, you can join us for a commuter with a commuter price, and that's only $555. So that's if you're able to commute, this option will save you a nice chunk and change, and you can still experience everything else that's offered with the weekend except for lodging.
Right.
And just to recap, so what the weekend includes is intuitive development, shamanic breath work, beach meditations, fun workshops, integration circles, Akashic readings, energy work, and just overall the opportunity to bond and create and socialize with people like you. And it's just a great time to spend some time in nature and relax and hang out with like minds.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited and looking forward to maybe doing a little like plant medicine and then taking a hike in nature or along the beach or something. So, and then sitting down and meditating. So, just it's a join us if you can, if you're able, especially if you're in the Michigan area. You won't have to worry about airfare or travel, too far. So, come and join us.
Yes, Michigan people, we did this for you.
Right. It's true. It's true. We did. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Now listen. Today's episode, if you like today's episode, if you love all of our episodes, if you're a fan, and I know you're out there because you guys are so kind and wonderful, you're always telling us, what you loved about particular episodes, or always saying, I love this podcast. We are trying to grow. And we've got some really cool things in the works to do that. But first and foremost, we would love your help sharing our podcast with your friends, with your followers, giving it props and repping it and, doing all of those things. It's such a big deal to us in really helping us grow and share our podcast with as many people as possible. Maybe we can get some sponsorships. Like I said, we're really trying to grow this. So it's pretty easy. Just share promos and posts and your stories and feeds and talk about us and, drop links whenever you can, and don't forget to tag us so we can respond and then share that and make a story out of it and all those cool things. So
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, what are we talking about today?
All right. So today we are talking about prosperity and prosperity practices. So this is the first in what I hope is a series, just kind of depending on what reception we get and feedback and all that. Oh, and I want to talk about like kind of what inspired the episode.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to talk about it's like prosperity practices, like practical things you can do to call in abundance and money into your life. So I know there's like some like witchy things you can do. Like there's this spell that I've heard of before of you take like certain ingredients, and that this is like it's called opening doors, like opening opportunities spell. You take like I don't know the exact ingredients, but it's like pomegranates, it's like fruitful things, eggs and stuff.
Nice.
Okay, so on my way to drop off my kids every morning, or once I drop them off and I head off to work, there's a crossroads, and at this crossroads, there's always stuff there like that. I've seen like the pomegranates, the eggs, and other herbs and stuff there, and I'm like, there's a witch in this neighborhood, and I want to be friends with whoever this is.
Send her a note. Will you be my friend? Yes
I'm
or
like,
no?
I've been like, what do I just like leave a note by the
Yes.
stuff and be like, hey, can we be friends?
Yes. Well, tell us the name of this series, because I thought that was the coolest part.
Yes. So the name of this series is Practical Magic.
Yay, I love that because, who doesn't love that movie?
Yeah, but it's about, being practical and doing things that are not super complex, because I think I've talked about this before, where when I was like a teenager and I picked up my first like witchcraft book, and like it was specifically a Wicca book, and it was all about these rules and all this stuff that you have to do and join a coven and all this shit, and I was like, I'm not doing all this. This
Uh,
is too
that seems like a lot of
that
work.
that's a lot of work, and I'm not a lot of work type of person.
No, no. It's
So
bullshit,
I
all
yeah
that work.
I like to keep stuff simple.
Hmm.
So yeah, I'm just gonna go over like a couple things, and then I also have like a cool little channeled message that I wrote down earlier today that just kind of came to me. But before I get into this, I think this is really important just to set the tone for this. Um, if you are going to do any prosperity work, anything to call in abundance, just in any way, shape, or form, the first thing, the very first step is getting your mind in order, getting your mindset straight. And some of people aren't going to want to hear this, but that involves doing shadow work. Like that
Yeah.
involves getting down to the nitty gritty of
Hmm.
like, why, how do you block yourself? What kind of language are you using to, that is not so abundant? Um, if you do need more help with that, I'm just going to plug in real quick and remind you that I do have a shadow work class specifically catering to that money mindset and money and prosperity. And in that class, I go over like how you can block yourself. What are common ways that we speak and we block ourselves? Like things like saying like, "Oh, I can't afford that," or
Hmm.
"That's really expensive," or
Hmm.
what. And like let's dissect that a little bit. Like the when you say that's too expensive is subjective.
Hmm.
Like what is too expensive for me does not mean that it's, too expensive for someone else. So who am I to say that's too expensive? Like that's just
Hmm.
I am setting myself up for failure. I'm setting myself up for not being able to afford that. If that's the mindset that I'm going into it, saying that, putting that marker up already and limiting myself. So,
And in the context of you know like the origins of witchcraft, spells are words, so words are spells, so the words that you speak, the words that you think, those are actual spells.
yes.
And the other thing too, the when you said like, who am I to say what's too expensive or whatever, I just saw a meme the other day and I was like, a freaking men, La Perla and their stupid ass $300 underwear that hurt like hell. Those thongs,
Yes.
like
They don't
some
even they don't even have right sizes, but uh-huh.
right, but they're $300, and I mean, there are people out there that will pay your prices.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Skinny
it's more
people.
about people, right? Oh my God. Okay, don't even get me started on thongs in the first place or uncomfortable,
Uh,
itchy ass underwear, but
yeah.
because I like my cotton jockeys, that's it. That's all I want. Don't try any satiny things
Mhm.
like that. But anyway, so yeah, so like I said,
Yeah,
spells are words.
definitely,
Words are
absolutely.
spells.
Yeah, language has a lot of power. And so definitely lean into the power that language can give you. But yeah, when you talk about something specifically, for example, like let's say you want a pair of Louboutins, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, those things are a lot of money, but if that's going to bring you joy and
Right.
happiness, don't focus on, oh
Mm-mm.
my god, that's like half my paycheck or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Focus on how badass I'm going to feel in these shoes,
Ugh.
how whatever,
Mm-hmm.
how it's going to make you feel. Like, is that going to make you feel good? That's
Mm-hmm.
the energy that you should go into, instead of limiting yourself of thinking like, oh my god, this is great. And I'm not saying like go broke, but if you
Mm-mm.
really want something, this is how you call it in, is call in the joy and the beauty of what is around it and what that can create for you, whether it is just a cup of coffee every morning. If that's your
Mhm.
cup of coffee that you enjoy having because that's like your favorite way to start the day, then fuck all what everyone else has to say about saying like, if you were to
Fuck
save
all.
$5 a day, blah blah blah. You know what, if it
Mm-mm.
makes you happy, call in more
Mhm.
of that, call in more
Mhm.
of what makes you happy. Why not?
Mhm. Yep. I want a pair of Fry boots, and it doesn't matter
Yes.
if they're new. It doesn't matter if they're used. Like, I don't care, because Fry boots that are brand new look like they're 10 years old anyway. The good ones do.
Hmm.
But I want a pair so bad, and it's just it's not come together yet. And it doesn't matter because I know I'm going to have those
Hmm.
SOBs at some point.
I
So,
bought some Fry boots off of Poshmark, and
yes.
they were pretty much new. They were like
Yes.
brand, like the soles were completely clean.
Yep. I'm on there all the time.
I was looking, the only reason why I didn't buy them new was because they didn't have the color I wanted.
Right? Yep.
I couldn't find the color.
Yep.
And I did find them on Poshmark and I got them and I love them. They're
Mhm.
some of my favorite
Oh,
boots.
there I
Yes.
have I belong to I'm on their mailing list. I get coupons from them all the time. The pair that I want, and I don't even know the name of it off the top of my head, but they are never on sale ever.
Hmm.
Never ever 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 on sale. And that's really what I'm holding out for.
Yeah.
I can pay the $400 for them, but I love a bargain. I want to get those
Yes. Yeah.
suckers for a
Yeah.
bargain.
I like a bargain too. I'm
Mhm.
down for a bargain, but you know, we mentioned that when we were talking about crystals. You know, I like
Yes.
to save money.
Yes.
If I get what I want and I also save money, why not?
I
But it's
know, right?
win
It's
win.
like, woohoo, I'm a badass.
But
Go.
yeah. But okay, so going back to like language and power. So think about it. I love that you mentioned that though, about how language is magic. Like think of words and how we use them now. Like the fact that okay, like the legal standing of shit and how you say like I now pronounce you husband and wife. It's like
Mhm.
so because this one guy said it and you signed a
Mhm.
piece of paper like
Mhm.
but it's true. Or you know when someone says like let's say you're at the swap meet and you're selling stuff and someone asks you like how much is this, it's $10. Like according to who? According to me, it's the power that I have to dictate, you know, what I'm selling stuff for. So yes, like all of this, like imagine the magic that we what we actually use in our day to day and how we establish words, even aside from like wishing for things or you know, asking for things, calling things in, just on the regular. When you bump into someone and you say I'm sorry, like that's you know there's power in those words. And also when someone bumps into you and they don't say they're sorry, like that's a
And there's
there's
power in
power.
your words when you're like, "Excuse me, dickhead." Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, you don't do that? Oh.
Yeah, but language can be very performative. There's a lot of action in itself and just language in itself. So yeah, absolutely don't mitigate that. Like that is it's very important. And how you speak about money, how you speak about your life and in the way that you call in money. If you don't, if you're a person that maybe you don't have a lot of money in your bank account right now, but maybe don't talk about that. Don't talk about
Right.
what you're lacking. Talk about, hey, you know what, I'm more money is coming in, it's coming, and lean into that. Lean into the gratitude of I always have enough money to pay my bills. I am always provided for, and the beauty in that and all that. So that just helps to shift your energy from this lack place of I don't have, or I can't afford, I can't do this, blah blah. I can't, or not, and shift into I have, I'm thankful for, I'm bringing it in, it's coming, it's on its way, like it in. And that's the energy that you're going to live in because that's the energy that's bringing it all in.
Yes, I appreciate I am all of those in the now statements, and they don't have to be crazy so that you're trying to lie to yourself. I
Yeah.
mean, they can be as benign as I am looking forward to ease and prosperity and safety in my financial situation. And work
Yes.
your way up.
Yes. And so yeah, if you do struggle with this and you do want some solid help with uncovering maybe what might be limiting you. A lot of this is just like childhood programming. this
Yeah.
this is all stuff that I cover in the shadow work class. This is all in there. Okay, so when I was prepping for this episode, the first thing I did was talk to my mom, because my mom is like, she's she's always done some things for, like, when they needed money or when they were trying to get to do stuff. I always watch them, like, they would do some kind of weird shit, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Oh, they do like spells and stuff?
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah. So my parents were big on doing baths, like, on
Yeah.
doing the bath thing was big with my parents when I was
Yeah.
growing up. Whenever my dad, like, wanted, like, he needed to get a new job or something, or he was going to ask for more money or whatever, he was doing something like along those lines. um yeah, that my parents did a lot of different baths with different herbs and stuff that they would get all together, light a candle. And the way that my parents would do baths, because we didn't always have an actual bathtub to, like, soak in, we lived in apartments, so a lot of times is, they would take a shower, and then they would have the pot with, of the water, the herb water, and then they would just pour it over themselves after the shower, and then they would just let it dry off on their body. Like, that's how they used
Oh,
it, instead of
mhm.
having to soak in a tub. That's how they used it, or that's how they were taught by the curandera that they worked with. So my mom gave me the first one. The first one is to create a amulet for yourself, a prosperity amulet for yourself. So this is something simple. You can just take, like, a little red baggie, a little red satchel, and in the satchel you put a silver coin and a clove of garlic, a piece of cinnamon, like a piece of cinnamon stick, and some rue. And if you don't have rue, you can use another herb maybe that calls to you, maybe like mint. Mint is also good for money. You're thinking of green for
So
money.
rue is a plant?
Yes. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Okay.
Rue is a
Okay.
plant. Yes. You put this in the little satchel, close it all up. If you need to, you can put that whole thing, like, in a little Ziploc baggie if you're worried about, like, the garlic or anything. But if it's a garlic clove, it's still in its shell. Like, you don't have to have, like, a whole raw garlic. So, you can carry it around, and you put this in your purse or your wallet or your car or your work bag, if you have a work bag, or your backpack, just somewhere where you're carrying it with you on the daily. And this is supposed to be a prosperity magnet. Like, it's a magnet to call in more money.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
S- So have you seen that in action, and are there like really cool stories around people that
Yeah.
have used that?
Okay. So these are, like, basic things. That the prosperity amulet thing was something that, like, I did really early on for my husband. Um
Ah.
from when we, like, okay. When we first started dating, and I'm gonna, like, put out his dirty laundry out there. But it's a good story. When we first started dating, like, he was, like, really struggling. Like, it was hard. Like, so he can't say that, like, I started seeing him for his money. Like,
Mhm.
there was
Mhm.
no money to be had. He was struggling a lot. Like, there were some parts where, he couldn't pay. He didn't have a lot of money for groceries. Like, he could barely afford groceries. At some points, like, I remember, like, bringing some stuff over, and, like, he was kind of like, it was kind of like ego thing, like,
Aw.
ow, like. And there was a point in time too where, like, his car was repossessed, and, like, I drove him to work, and he was, like, very upset at that time. And I remember sitting in that car with him and telling him, like, it's upwards from here. Like, this is
Yeah.
it. Like, this is it's only going to be better from here, from now on. And we're going to do this together. And it has been. It always has been.
Yeah.
Ever since then, it always has. But yes, but I've always done, like, little things for him. Like, he has an amulet with the silver coin, and he has that in his wallet. Like, he has the thing. Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, and I would say he's done pretty well since he met me. So,
Right?
not that
Exactly.
I'm not going to take all
Uh-huh.
the credit, but,
He he traded up, up.
but yeah, yeah, and I share a good story about my parents too in one of the shadow work classes as well, and this has to do with mindset shifts. When my parents first were dating, when they first got together and they moved in together, um, they were living in a converted garage, in the back of someone's house. And at the time, like my mom tells me, she's like, sometimes we didn't know like how we were going to afford beans for dinner. Like it was, we were like just barely scraping by. And so when they found out that my mom was pregnant, my dad was a little upset because he was worried, like, how am I gonna how am I gonna provide? And he was really afraid, I think. And so his reaction wasn't necessarily the happiest because he was worried, but everybody reacts differently. But anyway, so when my mom was about 7 months pregnant, my dad was in his car accident, and it was his fault. Like, I think he just like rear-ended someone. It wasn't like anything major, but he rear-ended someone. And the guy, I don't know if at the time like they didn't have car insurance or what was going on, but anyway, the guy ended up like asking him like, you need to pay me. And my dad would tell him, was like, I don't have a lot of money, like, but come to my house, here's my address, like, give him all the information, and I'll pay you, x, whatever, x day. Guy shows up to the house on that day. And then my mom opens the door. My mom's like, out to here, belly out to here, 7 months pregnant. And she opens the door. The guy's over here looking for my dad. My dad comes to the door. And then the man goes, is that your wife? And he says, yeah, that's my wife. We're having a baby. And the man goes, you know what? Don't worry about it. Just keep the money. Just keep the money for your baby. Don't worry about it. And he left. And my dad closes the door and he looks at my mom and he's like, this baby's going to bring us a lot of good things. Like, this baby's,
Aw.
we're never going to have to worry about money again. And once they made that commitment to themselves, they
They
never
never
worried
did.
about food
Yep.
again. They
Mm-mm.
never worried about food again ever. Like, I
Mhm.
I was the type of kid, like, I grew up, my parents weren't rich, but people always assumed that we were rich, and I was always like, why do you guys always think my parents have a bunch of money? It's like, because you're always
Right.
wearing nice clothes. But I never like went without. Like, I never, I'm very thankful for that. And yeah, but I think it wasn't like I wasn't a good luck charm. It was, they they changed their minds about
They
the way that,
changed their mindset.
yeah, about the way
Yes.
that they lived their life.
Yes, about how they perceived their own situation
Yeah.
too.
Yep.
And that's a game changer. That's a game changer. I have a friend who was like, this is hard, things are hard, this sucks, blah blah blah. And I was like, well, you know what? Why don't you shift it? Shift it, because what you're doing is based on choices that you're making in order to get yourself someplace that you really, really want to be. So the road along is full of challenges, but and as
Yeah.
soon as she made that shift, things just started, you know,
Yeah.
it shifted for her. So yeah.
Yeah. And we've mentioned the reticular activating system,
Yep.
where if you believe that everything is hard, that's exactly how you're going to perceive everything. Your brain is going to constantly show you how things are always hard because your
Hmm.
brain doesn't want you to be wrong.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The brain works in it only sees those pictures. It's
Hmm.
the pictures are what reality. It's not.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's yeah.
Yeah, it's proving. Yeah, it's proving your reality that you believe. Hmm. So yeah.
Yeah.
So my mom gave me this other one. So this one is to remove like salt from your energetic field. So like we say it in Spanish. I don't know, like, do we use this in English? Like when you say someone threw salt on me, like to say like you're salty, kind of like, but not salt. It's more like saying like you have bad luck. Like, so that's how we use it. We
Yeah, I
use,
don't think there's an English, origin of that as far as salt. Not that I
yeah.
can think of at the
Okay.
moment, but I'm sure.
Yes. So yeah. So like in Spanish, we say like, if somebody's salted, it's like they have a lot of salt on them. It's like they have a lot of bad luck. Like they have a lot of ick on them. Like bad energy, basically. So
Uh-huh.
this is to remove the salt or the lack, basically, from your life. So it's you're doing a lemon wash. So what you do is you take a lemon and you cut it just in half, and then you cut across into one of the slices, and then you take that lemon, take it with your dominant hand, and then you basically are like washing your hand, like you're scraping away at your hands. and you do it to both hands, like you're scraping away. So what you're doing, it's like this is like the act of removing any energetic ties of limitations from your energetic body, especially your hands, because our hands are
Yes.
like, this is what we use to produce, to work, to talk to people, introduce ourselves. Like this, our hands are, tools. So this is like to clean the tools for your abundance.
Yeah. Yes. I love that one.
So the last one is to do a bath for abundance. And like I already explained, if you don't have a bathtub, you can do the shower way as well. But for the bath for abundance is you take a pot of water and you boil like a stick of cinnamon, some rue, rosemary, lemon, and eucalyptus. And to make a bath, you just boil it down. I don't boil it too long. I just boil it usually until like the water changes color. Especially if you have
Sure.
cinnamon in there, just wait till it's a
Mm-hmm.
little brown. And all the herbs and stuff get wilted. And then I'll actually strain. I'll strain the herbs out of it. I don't want a bunch of herbs on my body if I'm gonna like do the
Right.
the shower thing. Yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
fine. All the power of the herbs is in the water. It's no big deal. Yeah, so then you take that and you can just pour that into your bath water, and then you can sit with that, and then just sit with the intention of what you're calling in, of what your life looks like as you are welcoming in this abundance. What doors is that opening for you? What places are you going to go? What kind of things are you going to buy? What kind of experiences are you going to have? People you're going to meet, all that. Like imagine yourself in that energy.
I love that.
Yeah, me too. All right.
The, just the mystical and the magical and the witchy and all of that stuff is so much fun. But all of it requires that mindset to be sort of on point.
Yeah.
But just I'm more of just a mindset person, but
Yes.
I love these sorts of things because that's just boring sometimes. Sometimes I want to dance naked under the moon with my crystals, in a, sometimes I do. And,
Yeah.
and these are just very, like you said, very practical things that you can do, but that they're also fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't have to be super complicated, and you can make substitutions if depending on what's around you. A lot of it has to do with the intention of what you're looking for. All of these, all herbs, all plants have medicinal properties.
Yeah.
They all, just like crystals, they all
Hmm.
carry their own energy of what they can do if they're cleansing, clearing, of nurturing, all of that, like warming, like cinnamon is very nurturing and warming, like that's,
Hmm.
it's a protection. There's a lot of properties to all of these. So yeah, it's a beautiful thing, and just utilizing the gifts that these plants can provide, and always thankful for them, and however that looks like for you, whatever way you show your gratitude, whether that's, if you want to do a prayer, or just saying, set your intention, or just saying thank you is sufficient. I guess it doesn't have to be super complicated.
Mm-mm. No, no. And it's just such a perfect, chat, and lesson and all of the knowledge that you're imparting on us, right before this full moon,
Yeah.
which, or the new moon, it's coming up and it'll be 2 days past when this episode drops. But,
Yes.
right now we are preparing for it.
Yeah. So I wanted to close off with this little channeled message that I wrote up a little bit earlier today.
Yeah.
So this is pretty much about mindset. So this is first is disengage from the limitations of others. Their limits are not your limits. You are worthy of prosperity and of abundance. You are entitled to be wealthy. You are an energetic being capable of calling in the energy of money. Money is an energy like everything else in this world, and you can call this energy in every day.
That's beautiful. I closed my eyes when I listened because I wanted to feel the energy of it. And yeah, it's like this gift that we all can have. It's the inequities and all of those things aren't meant to be an actual thing. They're a human
Hmm.
construct, a human design
Hmm.
construct based on what we believe we're capable
Yeah.
of. So I love
And
that.
I've had a few people, I've noticed a few people talking about this recently too, about like cutting out that thought of like, well, money doesn't matter, or I'm not doing this for the money. Like, we live in a fucking 3D world, and whether you like it or not, money matters here. It does.
It matters. It is, we are capitalists and we live in a capitalistic society. We have to have money in order
Yeah.
to survive.
So there's and just like food, like we should have it. And there's nothing
Yep.
wrong with it. A- it's
Nope.
if you think of it from that energetic perspective, money is neutral. Money is neither good nor bad.
Yep.
It's an amplifier though. So it's
Mm-hmm.
just like, when an evil guy has a lot of money, he fucking wages war
Mm-hmm.
on people. But when a good man has money or a good person has money, they feed the hungry, they take care of people, they spread it around. So yeah, it is an energy just like anything else. So don't attach stories to it in that way that limit you from having it. You're allowed to have it, and it's okay for you to have it.
And it feels like such a huge energy right now. I don't know about for everybody that's listening, but for me specifically, the other day at work, some books came in that were sent to our executive director, and it's they're books about money, and it's basically, people struggle with money, so let's talk
Mm,
about it. And it's a very interesting book actually. And then today we had a guest in with our family that learns initiative, and he was in talking about
mm.
finances. And it's just everywhere, this this podcast. And there's something else that popped up too. So it's just everywhere, and right now it's tax
Yeah.
season. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's a big energy. All right, awesome. Thank you so much. Those were so fun. So if anybody out there actually does some of these, this practical magic, please tell us and share and take pictures and
Yeah.
all that
I
good
want to
stuff.
know.
We would love to hear about that and see it, and and even share some of your own maybe practical magic tips or abundance and prosperity
Yeah.
spells. That would
And
be cool
remember
too.
that energy, all energy like needs, it flows through clear channels. So once you get your
Hmm.
mindset in order, give it somewhere to go. Like, it's not just like, oh, I just
Yep.
want to like hoard hoard
Mm-mm.
this.
Nope.
No, like, where's it going? Give it somewhere to go. And it doesn't
Yep.
like it doesn't always have to be like, oh, I'm gonna go and pass out money on the street. No, like, you're allowed to
No.
like, no, I'm gonna take this vacation. I'm gonna buy a new
Yes.
car.
I'm gonna buy those fry
Yes,
boots.
it's okay. Like, give yourself permission to have that money, have a goal to where it's going. That clear channel thing is like, that's if you're talking about like wanting to do stuff quickly, like, to do that. Like, give it a channel to run through, and it will run.
Yeah, an avenue through which, for the universal law through which to work. And it might seem scary too a lot of times, when people talk about ebb and flow and how to get money to flow and stuff like that. And it's like, well, you have to spend money for money to come back in, and you're like, I don't have enough money, I'm trying to get more money, how can I spend
Hmm.
money? There are other things that you can do, to sort of emulate that whole in and out, give and take, ebb and
Yeah.
flow.
Oh, you know what? Actually, I'll
Yeah.
add one more. And this one actually I got from Erica. This is something really simple. You just take seven $1 bills and you pass them out to houseless people on the street who are asking for money. Just a
Mm-hmm.
dollar to like whoever you see. Just so until you pass out seven, and then you take a white rose to your nearest water, like if you have an ocean or a river or whatever, and you go and you give that offering to the water. And that's it. That's an abundance act as well.
And that's an
Mhm.
abundance.
Yep.
Yes, I love that. There's and there's nothing but rivers and oceans around here, around
Yeah.
these parts.
Everyone's got some kind of water thing around them, I hope.
Mm-hmm. Right, and it's easy to give away $7, rather than and also just the intention behind it is beautiful too. As long as you tell them, don't don't spend this on drugs. Don't you hate it when people are like, I don't want to give to people because they're going to spend it on drugs?
Just
Who
let them spend
cares?
it
Let
on
them
whatever.
spend it whatever the hell they want to
Whatever
spend.
makes them happy.
It doesn't.
Here's your
And if being purchasing meth makes them happy,
they're not going to purchase meth with $1, so it's fine.
It's fine. Right? I know, right? Oh, that's a good.
Don't worry about it.
That's a really good point. Here, go buy a cheeseburger. I want to go buy meth.
Whatever makes you happy.
Probably not going to be very good. I don't.
All right, you have something for us on the closing vibe?
I do, right? And it I had this chosen before I knew what the topic was, and again, you just can't make this stuff up. So with this closing vibe, I want to talk about the new moon. But the question prior to talking about the new moon, this is the question that I would ask all of you. If you had a full year off with pay, what would you spend your time doing? A full year, you get paid the entire time. What are you going to spend your time doing? Because you don't need to work. And so with the new moon in Pisces coming up on Wednesday, March 2nd, this moon is going to enhance opportunity, inspiration, and a flow toward manifesting what you want without of the obstacles that frickin' 2021 and even January and maybe even February sort of presented. So within this energy, when you're thinking about what you would like to spend your time doing, make sure that you're clear about what you want to feel emotionally. You've heard that, some of spiritual leaders that say, how do you want to feel? That's what you want to focus on. But you also want to focus on how you would like that to unfold, right? You don't want to be strict and you don't want to say only this way, right? But it would be nice if I felt safe in the unfolding of that was that I all of a sudden commissioned like 25 new jewelry orders or something like that. Because that is going to help you get clarity around how you want your life to unfold. And that's the energy that is really, really important to sort of capitalize on in this new moon in Pisces energy. Being really clear about what you most want to manifest, not worrying about the details and not overthinking the process, but really tapping into that whole heart-centered desire. Now, why? Why is that so important right now? Because basically what's happening is there's a window of time, March 2nd through the 6th, that's going to be, the energy is going to be really, really, really focused on intentions and clearing any of that doubt, resistance, or mistrust. That's why what Fiora was just talking about is all about clearing the resistance, changing, getting your mindset straight, moving out of any mistrust of the universe or of self. Okay, so to wrap it all up in a bow, we think of growth in our life. When you think of growth, specifically from a spiritual perspective, right? Even as it's tied to shadow work, right? That we think of it as it has to be hardship and suffering or painful lessons or facing things that we don't want to face. But that's not necessarily the case. That's your perception of it, right? And we just talked about the perception. This moon is going to bring us an opportunity to sort of flip the switch, flip the script, flip the table, whatever. We'll shift that perspective to grow through positive, pleasurable satisfying, fun experiences. So that's why this new moon is such a cool moon, because it's, if we can make that shift here in Pisces season, or Pisces Aries season, but also this Pisces new moon, if we can make that shift and start thinking of our growth, our forward movement as being fun and exciting and fulfilling, and rather than, oh, this growth is going to suck, this up-leveling is going to suck, then that can shift everything for us for the entire rest of the year. Yeah. I know, that was Forever Conscious, man. Like that. Yeah. If you don't follow Forever Conscious, Forever Conscious. Do you say that? Conscience or conscious? Foreverconscious.com. Her nuggets are just life-changing sometimes. Oh, you know what? Yeah, they're great too. But this wasn't Forever Conscious. This I'm like, oopsie. Well, I follow two people. Well, I follow more, but these are the two that every that I really like vibe with are foreverconscious.com, but then the powerpath.com. And the Power Path is actually shamanic. They're shamanic practitioners, but they Lena Stevens puts out a monthly report the first of every month, and that thing, she does one for the new moon, and then she does one for the entire month, and I believe she does one for the full moon too, and they're just badass. So follow powerpath.com and foreverconscious.com. Okay, so hey, so wait, before we go, if you had a full year off with pay, what would you spend your time doing?
My first thought was renovating a house.
Right? Maybe doing a kitchen, or just the whole house.
I would do the entire thing.
The whole house. Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Oh, that's so lovely. Yeah.
What about you?
Well, I definitely would. Yeah, man, I'd make jewelry. I would make jewelry. I'd do some readings here and there, travel a little bit.
Beautiful.
Okay, beautiful souls. You can find us on all the socials under Esoterics Podcast. And hey, join our Facebook community, the Esoterics community. We do some fun stuff in there, and it's some good conversations. Yep. We need all sorts of fun people in there. Lots of things going on there. Card pulls, meditations. We'll get there eventually, right?
Oh, that's
meditations.
Right.
We'll get back on track with those.
You know what? Let me look at my schedule this week. Anyway.
Right.
All right. Thank you for sharing space with us today. Stay mystical, magical, and ready to do it again next week.
Bye, guys. See you later.
Bye.